America, the beginnings of a new nation. Around the 16th and 17th century, some English people came to America to escape religious persecution. The settlers who came to the new land were known as Pilgrims and Puritans. Jamestown was founded in 1607, and it was the first successful attempt to colonize the region. The colonization of Jamestown was a project of the Virginia Company. It existed to make money for its investors, and they hoped to find gold in this region. Unfortunately, life in the new colony did not work out as well as intended. Word spread that the New World's first year left only about 65 people, which made it difficult to find new colonists. So the Virginia Company was like, okay, so what are we going to do now? So in 1618, they came about a recruiting strategy called the headright system. It offered 50 acres of land to each person that a settler paid to bring over. 3 random facts, ready, go. This time brought about indentured servants. They weren't really slaves, they are more temporary. Along this line, the population was mostly male, 5 to 1 to be exact. And finally, the Mayflower Compact was the first written framework for the US government, so you could say it was kind of a big deal. Now back to our timeline, let's talk about the relationship between the Native Americans and the English. Trade was great, iron, guns, and utensils for furs and food. As time went on, however, male Indians focused most of their time on hunting for furs for the colonists. Soon, this hunting demand became a competition between the natives, causing conflict within their tribe. During this time, the English began to send more and more people over from Europe. They began taking over natives' lands, fencing in what they claimed as theirs, causing some conflict. Rebellions against English by Indians uprose, and the English decided that even though they were only able to survive with the help of the natives after arriving to America, they believed that natives could be replaced because they weren't using the land right. The settlers decided that they would buy land from the Indians, with stipulations. The Indians would be ruled by the English. Now let's talk about the Puritan settlers' views of the Indians. Some saw the Indians as heathens in need of salvation or help. They also saw that the abundance and equality of the natives' life may appeal to some, and they might want to go native. This became a contradictory problem. In 1642, the Massachusetts General Court sentenced 3 years hard labor for those who left the colony to live with the Indians. This is where anti-Indian propaganda arose in forms of writings. Narratives written about how the English desired to return to their way of life after living with the Indian savagery started to be published. On the opposite spectrum, many English admitted to be treated well by the Indians. One of which is a story by Mary Rowlandson where she says, "It is good for me that I have been afflicted." Now to wrap up the timeline, trades, wars, and deals between the English and the Indians laid the foundation for a new nation. This has been the beginnings to the 1800s. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you learned something.